Hi, I'm Louis Cahill from Gink and Gasoline, and today I'm here to review the new Orvis Superfine Graphite. First, just a little bit of housekeeping. This is the first video I've shot in what I hope is going to become a very familiar location. This is my backyard in Green Mountain, North Carolina. If you have been wondering where I have been for the last year, those of you who follow the site closely will know that our home was devastated by the flooding of Hurricane Helene. We had 11 feet of water in the house, 6 inches in the upstairs. And while we are definitely among the fortunate ones that we have a house to rebuild and lives to rebuild, as many of our neighbors do not, it has really turned things upside down for us. So I apologize for having been absent. Hopefully I'm getting that back on track. And once we are moved back in up here, and I'm hoping a year, maybe a year and a half tops, I'm going to be bringing you a lot of great content from some of the amazing fishing we have up here in Western North Carolina. We really are surrounded by an embarrassment of riches. So I'm going to start talking about this rod by unpacking it from the tube and showing you how it comes, because I think it's pretty cool and interesting. Okay, this is the 7.5 foot 3-weight Orvis Superfine Graphite. Comes in a Cordura covered tube with zipper top. It's got a nice embroidered Orvis logo on it. I've never shown a tube or a sock or any of that stuff in a rod video before, but I just thought Orvis made a little extra effort with this, so I would go ahead and show it and talk about it a little bit. I love the rod sock. First of all, these little clips that they're putting on their new rod socks are really nice. I like those a lot. Just squeeze it and it pops open. And it's a cool little fabric with the trout and quail pattern on it. And if you're one of those people that, well, if you're one of those people that hates Orvis because they're traditional, you're probably not buying this rod anyway. But this has just got a cool little traditional look to it. And I thought it was cool. Like, they made an effort, right? And then we'll slide it out. It's a lovely little rod. It's a dark gray, beautiful quality cork on it, chrome stripper guides and snake guides, little red accent at the top of the classic Orvis labeling, and black hardware. Really delicate, really nice little rod. The kind of quality that you've come to expect from Orvis. You know, it's just a beautiful little thing. So let's take this guy out and give it a cast and see what we think. I've fished this rod a handful of times on some of my favorite streams up here. And when I first picked it up, I thought of it and treated it as a small stream rod. And what I quickly learned was it was more versatile than I was giving it credit for. This thing is not afraid of distance. And it is just as at home throwing dry flies on a drift boat on a pretty good sized river as it is on a small stream. It's a 3-weight, so I don't know how much wind you would be happy fishing this in, but I'll tell you, if you give it a little double haul, it really responds to that and cuts pretty well. And it is fast enough to be capable of making a really nice tight loop, which will cut through the wind and get you some distance on a bigger river, also thread you through bushes and get you into tight spots on a smaller river. So my feeling about this is that it is a pretty good rod for light fishing in all-around situations, whether you're fishing, you know, let's say medium-sized rivers to tiny streams. But when you do take it out on a tiny stream, that's where it really shines. So let's hit the water with it and I'll show you what it'll do. I grew up not far from here in Virginia, and this is the kind of trout stream where I learned to fish. Small streams with lots of brush, lots of overhanging limbs, small feeding lanes for small fish. Accurate presentations are a must, and just keeping your fly out of the trees and the brush is a trick, right? Now, that's not small stream fishing for everybody. If you live out west, small stream fishing for you might mean spring creeks in a grassy field where there's nothing overhead to worry about. But you do have to make delicate, accurate presentations with fine tippet and fight big fish, and this rod will do all that. It's got a super nice soft tip to cushion the lightest of tippets, no matter how big a fish you put on it. I have absolute faith in that. It'll make super accurate presentations, and that's all great. But to my mind, this kind of environment is where this rod really shines, as it will make a full back cast, and it will, I'll show you, it will make a tight enough loop to thread through those trees and present the fly spot on where you want it, right? So no problems there. Great tool for that. But it also really responds to techniques like roll casting. And if you fish a lot of small streams, you know you do a lot of roll casting. You get the leaves off of here. It's October. We're taking our life in our own hands because we're fishing under a bunch of black walnut trees, so you're liable to see me get beamed. But this thing makes a great roll cast into a tight spot, and I'm able to drop that fly right along that overhanging grass by that undercut bank, and bam, that's where you expect a fish to be. Now, I would love for you to see me land a beautiful little southern Appalachian brook trout today, but unfortunately, since the flood, I have not seen trout in the stream. I have seen some of the shiners and smaller bait fish starting to show back up, so I'm hopeful that the trout will follow. All of our rivers are in recovery mode, but fishing has been surprisingly decent. So if you're thinking about a trip to the mountains to do some fishing, I'd highly recommend you come up to Western North Carolina. It's beautiful here, even in spite of all that we've been through. The leaves are changing now. It's just lovely. And quite frankly, everybody up here needs the tourism to survive. So if you're thinking about taking a fishing trip somewhere, you'd be doing yourself and the locals a favor if you came to Western North Carolina. Anyway, back to talking about this great little rod. So again, small stream, tight quarters, beautiful tool for making casts like a roll cast where you need to pop into a really accurate spot. And man, I just keep expecting to see a fish run out and grab that, but it's not going to happen today. So let's talk a little bit about bow and arrow casts. Chances are you're used to seeing me on the bow of a flat skiff casting at bonefish with an 8-weight. I'm not ashamed of that, but there's a lot of me out there doing that. The truth is I do a lot of small stream fishing. And you know what kind of casts I like? I like effective casts that catch fish, right? And I don't know of a more effective technique than the bow and arrow cast when it's done right. And a lot of people pass it off like it's nothing, like it's not a real cast, like it's not important. But when you understand this cast, you know how to do it well. It's a super valid technique. So let's say I'm in a situation like this. I've got a nice little pocket up there on the far side of the stream, but there's absolutely no place for me to make a back cast, not even a roll cast to get to this, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna strip off a little bit of line here. And most people, when they think of bow and arrow cast, they think about just having the leader outside their tip top and pulling the rod back and making an 8-foot cast. But I'm here to tell you there's a lot more to this cast. And if you learn to do it right, you can take out a little extra fly line, hold your leader further up, and when you load the rod, if the rod is up to it, it will pick that leader up and deliver that fly right where you want it at distance. And it's kind of surprising how much distance you can get from that when you're good at it. It doesn't require any extra oomph with your casting hand. You want the rod tip to travel in a nice straight line, just like you would in a regular cast. So point where you want it to go. I like to grab, I tie my own leaders, so I will grab one of my blood knots here, pull it back, make sure my fly is not in trouble, point my thumb where I want the fly to go. I'm going to hit right below that big rock up there where the water is coming in and release, boom, and there you go. Right on target, bullseye. That is a cast that catches fish, and this rod excels at it. A lot of the little brook trout streams that I fish up here, 80% of your day is cast like that. So if you can make a 30, maybe even 40-foot cast with that technique, it's going to put you on a lot more fish than you would otherwise. So again, it's rod dependent, and with slower rods, sometimes you have a little more trouble doing that, and this rod is just exceptional about it. That's one of the things I love about it. I mean, for many, many years, I've fished almost exclusively bamboo and fiberglass on small streams. And getting into tight spaces with a slower rod, it's sometimes just a little harder to control the flex of that rod and how it unloads. This thing has got the delivery, the accuracy, and the smoothness of its recoil that a Helios has, but in a tiny little delicate small stream rod. And I'm just in love with it. I think it's awesome. And I think if you get out there and try that, you're gonna like it too. So thanks for hanging out and geeking out about fly rods with me. I could probably say a lot more about this rod, but I think what you should do is, if you're interested, you get out to the fly shop or maybe to your Orvis store and give one a cast. If you're into small stream fishing, I think you're gonna love this as a tool. I certainly do. It's kind of been a game changer for me. It retails for $598, so $600 rod. You can spend twice that on a fly rod. I do not know if you're going to get anything better. Comes in weights from 1 to 5. They're all in the mid 7.6 to 7.9 range. So great length for small stream fishing. I'd get out there and give one a cast. And thanks for tuning in. Stay with us at Gink and Gasoline for more fly fishing tips, gear reviews, tricks. And maybe let me know if you want to see the house and maybe some of the flood damage of the area. Maybe that's a video I should do at some point. So tell me in the comments if that's something you're interested in seeing. Get out with Western North Carolina and catch yourself some beautiful wild trout. Thanks for tuning in.